let's talk about the Georgia election. It's super important. Can you explain why? I know that you're down there on the ground now. Can you tell us a little bit why it's important, about why it's important?
So when you ask the question, just going back to the same thing, when you ask the question about why, let me see, I want to make sure I frame it properly. Um, what are some of the concerns that we've had with the Obama administration?
Yep.
One of the things that I mentioned is that while he was in office, there was a lot that he was trying to do on policing. He saw the issue very clear and had made some very clear statements about what needed to be done in terms of accountability. But the thing that he ran up against was that we, as in Black folks, don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily pay attention to non-presidential elections. So
Right.
down the ballot elections, your
Yep.
Senate, your Congress, your city council, all the other local elections, we don't necessarily focus on those things. And as a result, what happens is that when the president puts forth policy and expectations, they can't actually get it passed or get the right bills out there because they have to be able to go through the Senate and entire federal government, in terms of the House, the Congress, and the Senate, which they call the House, right? They have to be able to get it passed through the House. Well, you can't do that if most of the people at the table are not of your same mindset and agreeing to stand with you on these progressive and radical issues. And so now that there are two Senate seats that are up that we could actually win, that would put us in a position. Now, let's be clear. We are going to have to fight Joe Biden. If you listen to the most recent tapes that were leaked, so they say,
Mm-hmm.
and now the full 2 hours of his meeting with the civil rights leaders. So he met with NAACP and Urban League and the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and other groups, right? The NAACP Legal Fund. There were a number of people in the room. And he
Mm-hmm.
was extremely condescending. He was arrogant. He was rude. He was disrespectful to these leaders, right? Leaders who have been in this work as long as he has, and in some cases, their organizations are even older than him, right?
Right.
And he was extremely disrespectful. At one point, he said something like, white boy, I'm the only white boy that stood on that stage and called Donald Trump a racist or something like that. Like it was so disrespectful. We never ever thought that he was going to be the savior or that he was the best guy for the job. In fact, I didn't support Joe Biden and did not want him to be the president at
Right.
all. But we were left with two options. And the two options were Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And I
Right.
would choose Joe Biden again if I had to, because I knew that it was time for Donald Trump to leave the White House. How are we gonna get him out? I don't know. They just put out a statement today saying that he's having his own inauguration at Mar-a-Lago. So he's in Florida. So he's really like told. I don't know how we're gonna get him out. But the point still remains: we're going to have to fight Joe Biden. But
Okay.
when we fight him and he actually agrees to do something and we win, the worst thing that could happen is that he takes it to the House and says, okay, we want to get this done on these issues. And he doesn't have the support in terms of those people who actually pass bills to get
Right.
it done. So we have to make sure that we set the chips up. So they say this would be playing chess, right? Is to
Mhm.
get everything set up on the board so that we could try to go in for what it is that we want and really win. But you can't even consider that. It would be, he basically would be sort of like a lame duck president if
Yeah.
we don't get Mitch McConnell, the power out of Mitch McConnell's hands.
Okay.